a year ago, I guess it says, I'd done this video, and I was comparing my two SX4s. My all-wheel drive SX4 was consuming about 1 liter of fuel over and above what my two-wheel drive SX4 was doing. Same car, same engine, same gearbox, everything the same except the one was all-wheel drive, but my all-wheel drive one was guzzling 9.7 liters per 100 kilometers. So 9.7 liters of fuel per 100. Yeah. So let me take you out to the car now. I'll show you what it's currently at, and I'll show you what was actually causing the serious increase in consumption. So this is the aft U-joint on my propeller shaft, and I can tell you it is seized something fierce. And can you see the offset, the difference between the center line of the yoke there, the center line of this yoke? Can you see the offset? Oh, that's quite a distance. So the joint is actually collapsed, and it has seized something fierce. So there's what it currently is. So that is a full liter of difference in the fuel economy I'm currently getting on my SX4 now. And I've got another year's worth of mileage on it. That's the current mileage on the car, right? So I know that's no outstanding fuel economy, but keep in mind, guys, this car is almost 12 years old now. It's pretty typical for back in the day. If you recall, I actually had my MD802 out when I actually showed you the parameters. That's why I have it again. And what I actually was considering at the time, if you recall, was the short and long-term fuel terms, and they were pretty similar to what they actually are now, very close. And I was very puzzled why those numbers were pretty much bang on where they should be, and yet the fuel economy was through the roof. I expected to see quite high numbers with respect to the fuel trim. I also looked at the mass airflow. So there's the mass airflow in grams per second there, boys. And then I compared it to my other car. Now, I fully appreciate that I'm pretty, and maybe a unique scenario where I have virtually two identical cars, right? And I realize that most people, or virtually everybody watching this, is not going to be in the same boat. However, we do have each other, right? So we can exchange information between each other, and if we need a comparison of some sort, perhaps somebody, if not myself, somebody in the comments would be good enough to exchange the details if somebody has a question with respect to how the parameters or PIDs should, what kind of values are typical, right? This is what I'm trying to get at. But I made the mistake, boys, and I did briefly mention in the video, it was only a brief mention of it, that there was a potential that we had a parasitic load on the car, and you can see here we have the load percentage actually up. I think that's basically a function of mass airflow, RPM. I think there's a machination of some sort that goes on in order to derive that figure, because I know if your mass airflow is bastardized, this figure will be off. So that's certainly a consideration. But I should have driven the car under load, and I should have been looking at this value, and this would have been abnormally high because of the parasitic drag from the U-joint on the propeller shaft. That would have been the ideal way to approach that. Of course, hindsight is 2020, but I just thought I'd make this video. It's a quick one, boys, to give you back the full story on the fuel economy. The guzzling fuel was the title of the video that I actually made back in the day. But I made the mistake. I should have been looking at the load percentage, and parasitic drag should theoretically show up on the scan tool if there is in fact a dragging brake or an issue with a bearing, or in this case it was a U-joint on the propeller shaft, the central drive shaft. Again, this is the all-wheel drive variant of the vehicle.